Hello, everybody. Okay, let's. Ooh. Wait, show us. Hello, everybody. Let's see who is that. I have to welcome you. But welcome. Go and invite your friends. Go and welcome other people who are who you care about. Okay. Okay, who do we have here? Okay, Adejumo Champion, welcome. Yeah, let's go ahead and welcome our friends and colleagues. Go and welcome as many people as you like to, because this is going to be a very, very interesting program. May Orenuga, welcome. And let's go invite our friends, Kenneth, Oluwafemi, Asani. Go ahead and welcome everybody. Go and invite your friends. Adejumo, Adeola, Lisasi, David. Welcome, welcome everyone. Isiwa, Asebota, City. Welcome, Genesis, Asani. Well, thank you so much. We will be starting this program today, and the program today is we are going to be doing a book review, and this is the book we are going to be reviewing: How to Win in Life. How to Win in Life. Yes, it was edited by Dr. Success, and he is the one that is going to review it for us today. How to Win in Life. So that is a major key, because life is about secrets. Life is about secrets, and life is about what you know. Life is about what you know. Life is about secrets. But a lot of times we are not even told that life is a mystery, that life is a secret. We are rather told that life is a mystery, or that life is all about destiny, fate, destiny, and that life is not what you can understand, and life is just the way it is, and only God understands it. But that's a lie, because life is predictable. Life is predictable because life is based on concrete principles and fixed laws. So that's what this book is about. This book will help you to discover and to know that you can actually win in life. And there are concrete steps that can help you to become a winner in life, to become one of the few people who knows how to win in life, and who knows where it's going and how to get there. So what will you say about this book? Even the concept of it. Yeah. We don't come across books like this so often. No. That will tell us, how do you win in life? Yeah. Because we think that the ones who win in life are the fortunate ones, yes, the lucky ones, yes, or the ones that God had appointed from heaven.
Many people believe that life is a game of chance. People believe that for you to win in life, then you are lucky. Something just happened for you. You were born in the right environment, or
you had some relatives.
You had some relatives who helped, or
family members,
or maybe God designed it. We in Africa, we believe a lot in faith, in destiny. So, for example, when we go to church, the pastor will say something like, "Hold your head and pray my destiny." Everything, holding back my destiny, and all those things like that, because we believe all of those prayer points come out of the belief that life is a game of chance. So if you have been appointed to win, you win, and if you have not been appointed to win, you lose. So people believe that anything that happens at all to a man in life is just a game of chance. It was destined for him like that. So when people are born, we believe it's chance. When people die, we believe it's chance. When people get married, we believe it's chance. When people get to graduate from school, we believe it's chance. So everything for us is just game of chance and all that. But this book totally destroys all of that myth. This book is now coming to say that life is based on certain laws and principles. In this book, you said that there are certain things you can see in the life of a man, and you can tell this man is going to win. Yes. And there are certain things that when you see in the life of a man also, You can beat your chest to it and say it's going to be.
It's not going anywhere.
So that totally is a totally different concept. It's a totally, when a book is so bold, so direct to tell you that, look, if you have these certain steps in your life, these are the concrete principles to apply. You will definitely win. Definitely win in life. You were so bold in the book to say that, look, if you have these things in your life, there's no doubt about it. You're on your way to victory. And there are certain things you also pointed out in the book that if you have got all of these things in your life, then I bet you are stuck.
You will never get anywhere.
You will never get anywhere. So this is a totally different concept because in Africa, books that we get to read about life. Books that we get to read about life says books like Anointing to Excel, Anointing to Prosper.
It has to be something to help you to, not your efforts.
No.
It has to be some supernatural interventions.
Exactly.
Either it is anointing. Maybe that's why they pay so much attention on anointing,
yes,
instead of on principles.
On principles. So we have anointing, we have covenant, we have things like that. Covenant to excel, or anointing to win, or anointing for breakthrough, supernatural night of the 30 days fasting and prayer for
24 hours of miracles. 70 something hours
70 days of fasting to win in life too. And a lot of people are beaten in life. They are tired. They are struggling, just trying to find out the principles that you highlighted in this book. And
because I don't know any one book that will have all of them put together and put in one book.
Yes,
it's almost impossible.
And that is, in fact, breaking also the strongholds that have been in the minds of people over time. Because when people get this book, then it will be an insult on them.
Not to be successful.
Or to start attending supernatural night of solution.
Or waiting for some supernatural intervention for them to succeed.
Or power must change hands, or all those kind of things like that. Life is not a mystery. You said in the book that life is not a mystery. Life is based on certain principles, on certain laws, and on certain guidelines. Yep. So when we have this law, you basically just simplify it.
Break the whole mystery of life down.
Breaking down the whole mystery of life. You can tell why Bill Gates won, why Mark Zuckerberg won, why Warren Buffett won, why Richard Branson won. And you can also tell why a lot of so-called spiritual people
are not winning
in life. They are losing in life. And one of the very strong statement you made in the introduction of the book totally blew me up. You said that when it is on this earth, it is not God who determines who wins and who loses. That even God himself has no hand in who.
It's neutral.
It's neutral. And it reminds me when we go for like all these Olympic Games or World Cup, and we have a team from Nigeria.
We have some pastors and some juju men with them.
And they come together before the game starts. They pray, they do every incantation and everything.
And the countries who don't pray.
And the countries don't get trashed us 4-0. And we lose, and at the end of the game, nobody's thinking, but we prayed before, and we didn't win.
They don't even think about it.
They don't think about it. And the same way we lose on the game of football, on the football field.
That's how we lose in the game of life.
That's how we are losing in the game of life. So
the point you are making is that, as in the beginning of this book, that when it comes to ruling and winning in life, it's not what God is not biased. You cannot be going to church, thinking because you go to church by itself will give you victory over people who don't go to church.
Nah, it gives you no edge.
If that is the situation, all the Nigerians who are in England, they should be the very leading people in the society, but they are not.
They are not.
They are the laborers. They are the manual workers. They are the strugglers.
Yes.
And the white people who don't go to any church, they are the ones winning.
CEOs.
In America also.
Yes. So people are trying to use God to cheat. They are trying to use God as an undue advantage. They are trying to bribe God.
But they don't know that the only reason you need to go to church, the only advantage it gives to you is if that church teaches principles of life.
Yes.
If it doesn't,
it's
a waste of time.
And that's why a lot of people are wasting their time and their life looking for supernatural solutions to common problems. And when God has put laws in place, it doesn't matter who that person is. If any man jumps down from a 5-story building or a 7-story building He's going to die. He's going to break his neck and die.
His law is law.
Law is law. It doesn't matter who he is. It could be the Pope
or the biggest prayer warrior in town.
Biggest prayer warrior in town. He's going to break his neck. He's going to die. The same thing for whether he's an artist or an unbeliever. These things are fixed. These things are laws. And we are not going to use God to cheat or to have an undue advantage in life. So this book, How to Win in Life, is basically outlining all the basic principles and the laws of life that govern winning in life. That tells you, look, by the time you see all of these things in the life of people, you can bet where they are headed in life. And
you can arrange your own life according to those principles.
Yes.
Align your life. Arrange your life to align with those principles.
Yes.
Because a lot of our lives, especially Christians, we don't align our lives according to principles. We don't build our lives around principles. So we just live.
Yes.
And hoping that something will happen. God will just come and favor.
God will show up one day, and
instead of taking informed decisions based on revealed principles that will lead you to a concrete, predictable result.
Yes. This book basically says that you can pick a pen and paper.
Yes.
And just like an architect, you can design your own
future.
Own
life. Yeah.
You can say, this is where I'm going to be in the next 10 years. Mm-hmm. And without fail, you are going to be there.
Yeah.
And without fail, this is where I want to be in 5 years. And you said something, we might get there in the course of the discussion, that there are certain things. For example, you said anything you do 2 hours of every day, in the next 10 years, you're doing it consciously. The next 10 years of your life, you are going to be among the best around in that field.
In the whole world.
In the whole world. Mm-hmm. And you say that if you are not consciously also taking that decision of 2 hours every day, in 10 years also, you would have an outcome, but that will be no outcome.
It will be minus.
It will be minus. It will just be no result, basically. So certain people have sat back, they've seen their life in 10 years, and they are taking 2 hours of every day to practically put the building blocks of their life together every single day, decisively doing same thing, training themselves in certain aspects, getting better and better every day. And in 10
making
years,
their lives predictable.
Yeah, so champions and winners in life are not accidental. They planned to be there.
Just like the story of the Michael Phelps and the Singaporean boy.
Yes.
Because
swimmer.
Put the work into it and practice and predictable results.
Yes, and eventually swam Michael Phelps.
And the new world record.
New world record.
Just by consistently practicing for 6 years.
Yes. So many people have decided to win like that in life. They have seen the future from now. They've decided that these are the principles, these are the laws that gets us there. And I'm going to put in the work, the principles to get there. And there are certain people who are so superstitious about it. They are so mystical about life. They are so spiritual and quote about it. They just want God to rain down the favor of heaven. So all the programs in church are rain of blessings.
That's what they call those programs.
Yes, rain of blessings, divine favor, supernatural service of divine encounter. Just one night, Jacob encountered an angel and the story changed in one night. And we also want our stories to change in one night. And that is why a lot of people there is no continent on the earth that is as spiritual as Africa, that goes to church like Africa, that goes to mosque like Africa. But yet, we are still filled with the greater number of poor people in the world. So that already shows that, except we come to a book like this, one of the books that I came in contact, of course, so many of Dr. Sunday's books that I've read that I'm strategically working on. When I read Nigeria and the Leadership Question, I said, every young person that is serious about Nigeria have to read this book. But when I got to this book, How to Win in Life, this one, I said, no. All of those rural children, all of those village children in the
primary
school,
secondary schools,
they need this book. As a matter of fact, anybody that's in diaspora, one of the best things that they can send home, I'm not sending money to all of their cousins and their relatives.
For this book,
books like this is going to help a lot. I mean it, because knowledge is illumination, is light. And when people, everything at all that somebody has done before can be reproduced. The way you started the introduction of this book was very, very powerful, extremely, one of your very personal stories. That every time again and again, when I read Olorunwa, I said, this is very personal. But then you brought that personal story again to the surface in this book. How, as a little child, after the tragedy that happened in the family, and you were left with just your grandmother to work, so then you had to every morning prepare the local custard, the pap, and then sail around in the neighborhood, and you have to walk around the city at 6 a.m. despite no matter how cold it is, except you are not going to eat in that day. You have to hawk the food, pap, and sell to the people, and after that you have to come home and prepare for school, and you have to still walk several miles to go to school. And when you come back, you have to, if there is food, if there is no food, you have to quickly rush whatever thing and go to the farm, and then coming back from the farm later in the evening, you have to still sit down and try to study. And it was like a very difficult childhood. It was tough, and all of that was happening because there was a mindset of, oh, well, there are certain people that win in life, but maybe they are connected, maybe they have people, maybe they have people are successful in the family.
We just used to think it was destiny.
It was destiny that was happening to them.
Destiny.
Yes, it was fate that God had designed it for them like that, and all of that. But fast forward 25 years after, by the time you were age 33, you were already pastoring the largest evangelical. That was just a space
in
of
Europe, in your own continent, not even my own continent.
Not even in your own continent, in another continent. Just between a space of few years, you had already done all of that, and you were saying that it was based. You said it wasn't just based on, oh, this is God or supernatural. You designed to be there. And you applying the principles that, look, anybody at all can replicate all of these things that I've done. You said it, and that is one of the things that is very, very mysterious about your materials, about your book.
Very open, very straightforward.
Yes,
truthful.
You are not being mysterious about it. You are not saying
God anointed me.
19-hour open vision, or
yes, I am special.
Open vision, and all of that. These are the principles which are applied. And if I did it, you can do better than
anybody can do. And then there are so many testimonies of other people's lives.
Yes.
People who apply the same principles and they get the same result.
Absolutely.
That is very close to the question I was going to ask you.
Yes.
What was, before you came across these principles here, how to win in life, what was your own philosophy of life in regards to who wins in life and how to win in life?
Well, for me, my guiding philosophy had always been that,
when you were in Nigeria,
in Nigeria, like time, the Bible says time and chance happen to them all. Luck happen to them all. So sometimes I just believe that opportunity happens to certain people, like just comes like a slap on the face, and that is it. That person gets lucky and he wins.
Only God decides.
God decides who wins in life. That was my guiding philosophy. I just felt if I'm lucky, if I get the right opportunity, I'm going to win. And if otherwise, I'll be
we agree with what God
brings, whatever God has said. And that is why also in Africa we are taught that if you pray more, if you give more, if you go to church more, works. If you fast more, we have things like seed for the redemption of the firstborn. So being a firstborn in the family, you also want to be careful and be spiritual enough. In terms of aligning with God, is be spiritual enough, pray more, fast more, so that you also get ahead in life. All of those, they made it trivial. It's about giving money. A lot of people are giving money. Transactional
relationship.
Exactly. So they are giving money. They want to win in life because they believe if I can just give more money, they want to bribe God. They want to induce God. So
they take their money to the church.
Exactly.
Their last money.
That's why in Africa, one of the prevalent gospel for me growing up that I heard again and again is that a day of favor is better than 1,000 years of labor or 1,000 days of labor or something like that. And basically what they are saying is you can induce God for his favor.
Through money,
through activity, more vigils, more prayers, 40 days of supernatural encounter, 50 days of things.
But that is still prevalent in Africa.
Yes, that is the prevalent gospel.
So that is actually the meaning of that continent. It means we are still in darkness.
Unfortunately,
it means the whole country and the continent is still in darkness. As long as we are believing like that, it means we are in darkness.
Absolutely, and it's a book like this that is going to bring illumination to the mind of people. It's a book like this that is going to break all of that chains of darkness, because Europe itself used to be a very dark continent. They had what was called the Dark Age before the 15th century. They had what was called the Dark Age, where for example, there is something that is called Yersinia pestis. That is the Black Plague that happened in Europe, and millions of people, in fact, 1/3 of the entire Europe were killed in that plague with that disease. And it's a bacterial disease. But unfortunately, they thought that it was God. In fact, the symbol of the whole plague is a man dressed in black, in a black robe, and they thought that, this was caused by God. But eventually somebody discovered a vaccine, somebody discovered an antibiotics against
loud.
Yeah.
Just move forward.
Yeah. Thank you. Is it better?
Please. No, so that your voice.
Okay.
Yeah, your voice.
So somebody discovered an antibiotics, a drug for the treatment of, and they discovered, so this was not caused by God after all. This is darkness. They just needed illumination. So what basically we need on the continent of Africa right now is a book that can illuminate the mind, that can help more people become aware that everyone can become another Richard Branson. Everyone can be like Bill Gates. Everyone can be like Warren Buffett. There's nothing that all of these people have done
that we all cannot do.
That we cannot do right where we are. And you said in the book that success and winning in life is not a function of location. There are people who are in America and they are not winning. There are people who are in England who are in England and they are not winning. And there are still people on the continent of Africa also
who are doing better than the ones
who are doing better. So it is not the fact that somebody left Nigeria and moved over to England that makes him to win in life. No. It is the fact that you understand the laws and the principles.
It's all about the laws
that governs life. If he is in England, in fact, let him be in heaven. If he's not applying the principles,
he will not.
He's going to lose.
Yep.
But wherever a man is, no matter where you were right from the village, you used that very personal example that you were right in the village when that illumination came to your mind, and you began to apply the principles.
Yep.
And just within a few years, you had overtaken everybody
else. And I was one of the last ones.
You were one of the last in the class. Everybody used to say that you were the dullest of the Adelajas. That you had professors, you had people in the family, people who were brilliant. That what kind of brain did you have? But when that illumination came to your mind,
I just about principles.
Principles.
God just didn't bless me.
Bless you with that intellect, with that, and the understanding you also brought in the book is the fact that you were extremely gifted in your own way, but the mindset was what was holding you back from winning. So, but immediately that mindset, that illumination came to your mind.
That mindset was formed by my environment.
So immediately that illumination came to your mind, then you overtook everybody.
I changed my attitude.
Yes.
And I discovered that it's so easy to be
successful. Such that when you wrote your jam, you were one of the best in the country.
Yeah, and in got WAEC, the best in the school, then jam, one of the best in the country, and you got scholarship everywhere.
And then you came to Europe, and even all of that you achieved right from
that village. my village is just 40 minutes or less than 1 hour to Lagos.
Wow.
And I'd never been to Lagos. And can you imagine, less than maybe 1 hour or 1 hour 40, something like 1 hour from my village to Lagos.
Yes.
Maybe, maximum 1 hour something, under 2 hours. It depends on how you drive. If it's public transport, maybe under 2 hours. Car, under 1 hour. And I'd never gone out of there. I was in that village. I've never even been to Lagos. The only time I was able to get out of Lagos was on my way when I went to get my visa. Yes. That was the first time. The second time when
you had to travel.
I'd never seen a plane before.
And in the village, you had people where
I never spoke English before in the village.
Wow. And in that village, you also had people who were successful, who had the big buildings and all that.
Who had taking their children abroad.
And you said that oftentimes you just always imagine what was happening in all of those compounds because you couldn't even get inside. And to you, all of those people, they were just the lucky ones. They were the ones who
were chosen by
they were chosen by God. They were appointed by God. So and
to
you
be successful.
And you thought the way that then it's the way that always been. But then when the illumination came to you, you could practically guide, and that is what you are doing. Even till today, you still tell us that you have planned your life 300 years ahead of time.
Even after I'm dead.
Even after you're gone, 300 years, you will still be speaking and you'll be living because you had planned it, and that is a major principle of winning in life.
What are the, if we are going to go principle by principle or chapter by chapter,
Yes.
because in every chapter here there are so many principles. By the way, this is the book we are talking about, How to Win in Life. If you have not yet read it, then you are losing out big time. If you have not yet read this book, you are losing out big time. So everyone who has not yet read the book, go ahead and find it. And the way to find the books is on Amazon. You can go and read it for free. If you are on Kindle Unlimited, Amazon Kindle Unlimited, you can read it for free if you are registered on that on Kindle. But if not, then you can buy it on Amazon, or you can buy it on my blog, sundayadelajablog.com/books, or you could just write to my office, which is cheaper. So just write to dssbooks@gmail.com, dssbooks@gmail.com, and you'll be able to get this one and then and you can actually be a distributor, not just of this book, but of my books in general. You can become a distributor, and what that means is that you'll be able to be making money from every book as well. So yeah, so let's go chapter by chapter, point by point.
Yes.
And there are so many lessons in this book.
It's loaded, very loaded. In chapter 1, you began by who wins in life.
Yep.
And one of the things you raised is the fact this chapter really dealt a major blow on the different superstitions that people have had in life. It's very, very prevalent beliefs. Many of these things, by the time you pick this book, you would not really know that everyone has
been deceived.
been deceived.
You've been living by the wrong principles.
Everyone has been programmed with some of these things naturally. You just think that these things are normal. They were things that we all grew up
thinking that that's the way life is.
That's the way life is. But chapter 1 of this book dealt with all of those things. I broke down all of those myths in the minds of the people.
Yeah.
So you said, like, a lot of people will look at, let's say, the actors and the actresses and the people on the magazines and all of that.
Hollywood TV.
And people look at them and will be, oh, they are really lucky to have been there.
God has really blessed them.
God has blessed them. But then you said that even being on Forbes also does not translate to winning in life. That some of these people will eventually, and you gave examples of people who even at the top of their career, who eventually went to commit suicide or jumped into the pool and died or something like that.
Because
they were frustrated. They were frustrated. So this book, you said that it is possible for a man to win in every area of his life. Either it is business. For example, now they say, like, in business, 50% of startups will die within the first 5 years. You say that doesn't have to be the case. Given principles and guidelines that a startup can actually be successful.
Yeah.
In marriage in America, they say more than half of every marriage, 50% of marriages break down in divorce. About almost 65% of second marriage, more than 70% of third marriages end up in divorce. But then in this book, you said, no, it doesn't have to be like that. That once people observe principles of life, it is possible to win in every area of life, either it is in the family, or in business, or in one's career, or every vocation of life. Yeah. It is possible to win in life. Then also that chapter, one of my favorite parts of the chapter is the fact that a lot of people want to go to heaven to win.
Okay, they are waiting for heaven.
They are waiting for heaven. That if I can just escape this earth, let me just struggle, let me just try and make it to.
That's why people like in Africa emphasize making heaven. They call it making heaven.
Yes. If I can just make heaven. All I just want to do is make heaven.
To make heaven.
I
don't want to miss heaven, no.
And all the pain and all the sorrow.
They don't know that being in Christ, they're already in heaven.
You said very properly, chapter 1, that even this earth is a destination because you were sent by God to the earth. Yeah. So if a man is sent by God to the earth, then that means this earth itself is a destination. Yeah.
So and you are supposed to make it here.
You are supposed to make
That's why you are sent here in the first place.
Sent to this place. So a man has to understand the laws that govern life. A man has to understand the principles that govern life. It is irresponsibility for a man to say, no, I don't care about this environment. All I want to do is walk on the streets of gold. Or I want to say, no, that is irresponsible.
You have failed the person who sent you here
to the earth for the assignment. So that chapter dealt with all of those myths and all of those superstitions in the mind of people. And that is why I think a book like this is extremely, extremely timely for the continent of Africa to help remove some of those age-long myths in the minds of people. So chapter 1 was basically who wins in life, and then you gave examples of the reasons, a lot of reasons also why people do not win in life. That one major reason why people do not win in life is actually that belief system. that they have held for so long. So if a man has a wrong belief system of life, it's impossible for him to win. It's just like, for example, now before, let's say two people have to go for a competition, and one of them already in his mind he has given up. He really does not even think that. That is why there's nobody that wins in any game, either it is in boxing or some of these combat sports, that at the end we say, I wasn't expecting to win.
I didn't even believe
I didn't believe I would win. No, they all come out of the competition to say, I knew that I was going to win. I was going to beat him.
I got myself prepared
for it. I knew that I was going, because in the mind, they had already won. All they just needed to do is get into the ring and implement the strategy and get it done. So a lot of people are going through life not even believing that they could win, not believing that they could get the job or the contract, or they could do something extraordinary, or they could be another Bill Gates or another Steve Jobs. So a lot of people just go through life thinking, well,
I'm just an ordinary person.
It's just one of the
nothing special
about me. And that is a major reason why people are already defeated. And this greatly affects Africans a lot, because a lot of times we're already defeated in the mind, we're already defeated in our heart. We are not confident. We don't. I was listening to somebody talk about the fact that he was in a conference the other day, and despite the fact that some of these Africans that were in that conference, they were some of the most brilliant people, they were some of the most intelligent people, but then in the conference they were very timid, they were very laid back, because they could not believe that they were equal to their counterpart from every other continent. For a lot of people, the black skin, you also said in the book that the black skin for some of them is already, for them they think is a disadvantage. Whereas they do not understand that the black skin itself is an advantage for you. You are not different from anybody.
Not even the black skin is inhibiting people, but their background. They think that I'm coming from a poor country, an average family, but these people are coming from developed countries.
Yes. So all of that people believe that, they are from developed countries, they are better than me, I can't. So already a lot of people, that is why many people will not even apply. For some people, it is their gender. For some people, they believe,
it's only for men.
It's only for men. And there's a statistics that also proves that a lot of times women will not even put in for an application that they are more than qualified for than their male counterparts. They won't even put in there. And when you don't put in for an application, how do you win? So you even first of all have to put yourself in the game to even stand a chance of winning.
Yeah.
So some people, because of gender, they believe it's a man's world, and I don't, or because of my background, I'm from a poor, or I don't speak well, or all of those things, and people don't step up to the game. When people are beaten down like that, when that mentality is already there, they're already defeated. Nobody can. You gave so many examples of your own life in the book. Coming to Europe, your first encounter with the white kids, and you had to study in a university where there were more than kids from 99 countries of the world, and
we studied with the Russians. Not in English, but we had to study their own language.
And you had to go to the dining, and you were always very timid, very fearful, even to go pick like a second plate.
Even the first plate, I couldn't.
Wow. You would rather be hungry and just be at the corner and just observe everybody. Said until one day you observe somebody who went for the second, went for the third.
And it was an Arab guy.
And you were thinking,
nonchalant.
He doesn't care, so why can't I also do this? Why can't I also stand up for myself? I think that is a very major struggle in the minds of people. I can really personally, I can relate with that.
Okay.
And that's one of the things you have helped me with over time. All of this
intimidation.
Intimidation. We are easily intimidated based on background, based on previous experiences, based on we fear rejection so much. We don't want to be said no to. We don't want to be rejected. We think that
we're afraid of people's reaction.
How would they react? How would they look at me? People are going to laugh at me and all that. I said, look, it doesn't matter. All of these things do not matter. All you just need to do is stand up and get yourself in the game. That is a winning mentality, first of all. So that's why I'm so passionate that a book like this has to get to the heads of as many people in Africa. From those poor background, to see that it is actually possible. You demonstrated
not just the people in Africa, even in the UK.
Yes.
For example, I'm very surprised when I heard, not just UK, even in the US, that some of our students, Nigerian students and African students, are the poorest in the schools.
Wow.
because they think, the only thing they can do is to go and play football or go and sing.
Wow.
And they don't study, they don't do well. So all of them need this book.
Wow. So that also is like a mindset that has been transferred.
That they are in the UK, it is not their country, the people, other people, they have advantage over them, and they are minorities. That minority mindset holds people back. Because they are already thinking they have lost, because they are minorities.
Wow. So, but you have demonstrated that winning mentality in a country that's not yours.
From the village.
Yes. You've been able to and pastored a church that is 99%.
Not just pastor, build it. I mean, make people to follow you.
Yes.
It's one of the hardest things to do. To be able to gather not just crowd of your culture
or continent.
And you live here, try to gather Ukrainians. Let anybody try to gather Ukrainians.
Difficult.
Almost impossible. Then being a black person, try to do it.
Wow. And all of that because...
And then do it in their own language.
Wow. All of that stems from the fact that you are...
I got that hold of these principles, yeah.
The principles were there. You understood the principles to apply at each point in time. So it's not
Once I began to understand the principles, I knew that I was already never going to be behind anyone. I was already going to be one of the best in the whole world.
Wow.
So then it worked for me in my secondary school, in my WAEC. Because I don't know where, I don't know how I think you know about it.
Yes.
That in Nigeria, everybody used to be afraid of WAEC.
Yes, it's like an almighty exam.
Nobody, even if you used to be brilliant all through school,
yes.
You are not sure. You are never certain.
Yes.
And there are a lot of tales and stories of people who used to be.
Yes.
So since it worked, and I applied the principle, it worked in that one.
Yes.
And I was not even sure of the principle. I was just, trying to work it. Trying to just see, let's see if it's going to work. And it worked like that. I knew, no, from now on, I'm only going to be going higher and higher. So what I did was, after the WAEC, when I got a very good result, then I went ahead and tried the same principle of, hard work and things like that for JAMB. And I got the third best result in the whole of University of Ife.
Wow.
And some people are saying I cannot get enough something, this and that. I got more than it was necessary for me, yeah. So, and I just knew that, then the next challenge was going to be to go abroad. And then not just try myself with my other contemporary Nigerian people, but to try myself with people from other countries. And then I began to see that it's easy. Just the principle. Abide by this principle.
This thing can work.
Yeah,
so you absolutely demonstrated that. You ended chapter 1 by saying the fact that the prosperity gospel does not prosper anyone.
Thank God that's what we are dealing with.
We are dealing with right now.
Yes.
So that the prosperity gospel does not prosper anyone. Yeah,
it's a stealing gospel.
It's a
robber's gospel.
When they think that you said the fact that there are two extremes. Some believe I want to go to heaven to make it, and some other extreme believe that it has to be money on the earth. A lot of people is just money, and you said money itself is not what makes people to win on the earth. Pursuing money, a lot of people are pursuing money with all of their lives, with all of their time, and still they are not winning in life. So that
will lead you the wrong way. It will lead you into crimes. It will lead you into drugs. It will lead you into credit card fraud and all kind of 419, and it will only destroy you again.
Yes. Chapter 1 also dealt about that when you say that there's no shortcuts to winning in life.
Yes.
There's no shortcuts. That all of those greed and all of those things, why people want to take shortcuts. They want to join cults. They want to join fraternities. They want to.
You will only become a loser as a result.
At the end of the day. So that was very powerful for chapter.
So what would this do for young men? Every young man who is starting out in life needs to read this book.
Absolutely. I believe that every young person has to read this book, especially when they ask you for money from home and say, my uncle, I need some money, send them a book like this. Buy a book like this and send it to them. It's going to help. You are not helping people by just throwing them crumbs of bread and all that.
And they'll keep on coming back.
And they keep on coming back. But when they get a hold of a book like this, then that light comes. There's this spark, there's that illumination. And
they'll be able to know how to create their own success. Either it is financial success or any form of
business
success.
or marital success or whatever form of, because they understand that it is not superstitious after all. Marriage,
and it is at the tip of their hands.
Yes, or applying the right principles, anybody can win in life. So that was chapter 1 is just
in every area of life.
Chapter 1 is very incredible, very incredible. My take home from chapter 1 is the fact that it is possible to win in every area of life. That doesn't like the fact that one is winning in one area of life doesn't mean that there has to be a fallout in another area of life. So one can win strategically in every area of life, either it is finance, either it is academic, career, business, and whatever thing it is that one wants to win in. So that was for chapter 1. Then in chapter 2, now you delved into these different strategies for winning in life. Extremely powerful. The first one you said is the fact that there are different categories of people who win in life. And one of you used the scripture that said that from the days of John the Baptist, the kingdom of God suffers violence, and the violent take it by force. But Christians, unfortunately, today don't want to be that violent. They don't want to be
only in prayers.
Only in the prayers, people want to exhibit the passion and all of that. But it is impossible to win in life without that violence, without that passion, without that tenacity, that fighting spirit, that will to win. It was, I think it was Muhammad.
We are waiting for God to do it.
God to do it. We don't want to. Christians have been taught, and this is another evil gospel.
Wait for the will of God.
This is another evil gospel in Africa, that will of God concept. That will wait for the will of God, be laid back. I just want to be gentle.
I'm waiting for the will of God. Or waiting for the time of God.
Waiting for the timing of God. God will show up one day if it is His mercy.
All kind of waiting is a mess.
And that is another stronghold in the mind of the people. So people practically will wait 40, 50, 60 years of their life. In fact, practically wait all of their life and not get a result, not get anything. So it is always, I'm waiting. For example, a young person wants to start a business and he says, I'm waiting for God, confirmation from God. I'm waiting. That's the word, confirmation from God. I'm waiting for a confirmation from God. I'm waiting for God to give me the go ahead. I'm waiting for all of those things. Whereas people in other continents of the world, or his colleagues,
who are not religious,
they've done all with that idea. As a matter of fact, many of the ideas that people have, they will only see it on TV. Somebody else has exhibited it. Somebody else has gone ahead with it. So you talked of the fact that there has to be that violent, that will to win, strong will to win. It was Muhammad Ali that said, he said, champions are not made in the gym. Champions are made from something they have inside of them. He said it could be a strong desire, a vision, or a passion. He said that, of course, champions, they have to have the last minute stamina. He said they have to have a faster pace than the rest of the people. They have to have a skill and the will. He said, but the will must always be greater than the skill. So for everyone, if a man is going to win in life, he has to always exhibit that stronger will. This is one thing that we are not taught in church in Africa. That is against the concept, the old gospel of humility, holiness, will of God, the confirmation. That is, being strategic, it requires the fact that you have to have a stronger will. So for example, two people are bidding for a contract. One of the things by which we can know is going to win is who has the stronger will.
Yeah.
Because a person who has the stronger will be able to take all the necessary other steps that are highlighted. But first of all, a man who doesn't even have the will to win, the willpower to win, has already lost even before the game began. So it is that willpower that drove people to be able to do all the necessary steps that are required of them to be able to.
Some believers even think that it's an ungodly or a worldly way.
Yes, they think it is worldly to fight, to put yourself in the game, to
push yourself forward.
For example, now we are asked, who among everybody can do this?
You have to keep quiet until they
I don't want to be first. I want to be humble. I'm so much like that. I just don't want to. No, they are going to think I'm.
But then it might be good enough for you to go to heaven, but it's not good enough for you to reign
on the earth. That is one of the things you highlighted strongly in the book. A lot of people are going to go to heaven. They are nice guys. They are good people. There's nothing about them. You can love them, but on the earth, they are going to be far behind.
They are going to be slaves and servants.
Slaves and servants of others. So the idea is that whenever anything is required and you can do it and you have the ability to do it, put yourself out there.
You've got to be aggressive.
You've got to be aggressive. You've got to go out there and say, you used an illustration, very, very powerful illustration in the book, that if, for example, you have an handkerchief or you have a book and you have to give to 2 or 3 people, and it's just that you say, who wants this?
Who wants this? And all the 3 of them want.
And all the 3 of them
one
want.
is quiet.
One is quiet or 2 are quiet.
One is humble.
And they're humble and they're okay.
Only the one that jumps at it.
Only the one that jumps at it gets to get it. And there's that need for that jumping spirit for everybody. So it's that jumping spirit that says, look, I want that. I want to get that.
For you to get ahead,
Yes.
you have to
Jump at it. You have to move. You have to go for it. You have to. The fighting spirit is needed for a Christian. No matter how good you are, no matter how hard you are praying,
no matter how much God is on your side,
how much God is on that person's side, no matter the
you
70
still have
years,
to apply the
the
principle.
the principle says, go for it, go fight for it, go ahead and jump at it.
This is one of the most important books anybody will ever read who wants to win in life.
Yes, absolutely. This is because these principles are not,
Concrete principle, very rare.
they are very rare. We are not even taught all of these things in business school. They are not
Yeah.
things that come readily
No.
to people.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to tell you that, look,
This one,
Go for
it takes love, real love for people to be able to put these things together.
I totally agree with that. I totally agree because they
You have to be interested in people.
And one of the things is also, I must confess that is, if you are not ready for change,
It's very uncustomary, the
the
principles. that are
principles,
here.
if a person is
And
not ready for
very,
change,
very much unreligious.
unreligious, very unreligious. This is not a book for a religious person. So a person who truly wants to win in life,
Who is ready to be pragmatic.
yes, and ready, who knows that, look, this is
This is my goal.
my goal. This
I
is
want
what
to get
achieve.
result.
This is the best book for that person to go for. So pragmatism, that's the
Result-oriented.
Result-oriented. I want to get this. I know I can do this. I know I can get this, and you go for it. So why a lot of people are still praying? Why you are staying 30 days fasting and praying and doing all that?
I mean, you know, for example, reading this book, you will discover that I'm sure you have noticed me that I'm always surprised and alarmed and even ashamed that we have so many black people, Africans, Nigerians, all over Europe.
Yes.
And in England, Europe, Italy, Germany, and they're just walking. You know, it's unexcusable to me. There is no way, if you read this book, you will not just exist in that society.
Yes.
Anywhere you are, all of you will be the best.
Yes. You absolutely said it in the book that you don't understand the concept of people just being okay, just I'm okay.
I'm providing for my family.
I'm able to provide for my family. We are able to eat. I don't legacy. No, legacy is just for some people. The people who live legacy.
I'm sending my children to school.
Yeah, it's just able to live from.
I mean, it's a disgrace. I never even knew that Nigerians could be like that.
Wow.
People who are just successful for themselves, who just have results. I never even knew that, because even when I was in the Domilan,
Yes.
I was ready to go and win the world.
Wow.
I mean, it's not worth it to step out of the village if I'm not going to win the world. If I want to go to Lagos, then I'm going there to be the best. But if I'm going to go out of the continent of Africa, I must be the best. But see Nigerians who are everywhere, they are not even
The best.
they are just happy that they got a job.
And that's
why this book is not just for the young people, it's for everybody.
Older people.
It's for adults too, because they will work like that until they get to retirement age. And they will go send them to go and die.
Yes, that is very practical. You said in the book again and again that that's basically what the government tells people to do. After retirement, and that's for them, many times life is gone. So you said in the book that there's the need for people, no matter what stage of life, wherever they are, to be able to say, look, I want to be the best in this environment. There has to be that willpower. That will has to be stronger than any other thing. I want to be the best. I want to be the best engineer. I want to be the best doctor. I want to be the best of whatever thing it is that I've set out to be. So when a person has that willpower like that, they will be able to go to the next principle you gave in that chapter, which is the fighting spirit. And then, okay, now that you have the will, step out and fight for it. Step out and grab it. Step out and do something. There has to be the fighting spirit. You used a very great story that I love in that chapter, where Socrates, the great philosopher, had a student who came to him and said, I want to succeed in life. The man said, I want to succeed in life. He said, okay, you want to succeed in life? Meet me at the river 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. And the student was, okay, I'm going to learn something new. 5 a.m. he was already by the river. And Socrates said, you want to succeed in life. And then he grabbed this student's head and dipped his head into the water. And then brought it out and brought him out and said, what do you want? Did I want to succeed? He dipped his head into the water. When this boy was gasping for breath, then brought him out and said, what do you want? The boy said, I want to live. I want oxygen. So when you want success, when you want to win, like you actually need that oxygen, then you are going to win. That is what it takes.
When your life depends on it.
On it, absolutely. So you have to go out there and fight aggressively. A lot of Christians are not taught to fight. You gave so many different examples, so many relatable stories of this fighting in this story. You say we are to love everybody, but sometimes even the physical fight is needed. Yeah. For example, somebody wants to hurt
your wife or your child's daughter
or the family. There is the need for you to use physical force at that point in time to stop them.
So, even though in your heart you still love them.
You still love them. Though sometimes you loving somebody so much means that you have to call the police on them.
Yeah.
You have to take them to court because that is the best way you can demonstrate love. At that point in time, tough love. But people don't want to do all of these things. We are not taught to be like that in Africa. People don't want to.
Especially as a Christian, they will only say pray.
And you said that it is extremely needed for that tough love part time for people to whatever. If you need to use physical force at certain point in time, use it. If it is using the law enforcement agents at some point, you have to. There was the example of a child somewhere who eventually killed his father, and this boy he slaughtered the father with a kitchen knife, and this boy had been misbehaving over some time, and then they put him in a religious camp
because they were not willing to.
Yeah, they were not willing to call the police. They don't want to put him.
You are supposed to have put him in prison.
So and they were just praying that God will touch his heart. Praying that it's going to change one day, until eventually one day they were praying, and he killed the father there.
Right in this happened in
redemption camp. And that could have been prevented if the father was ready to use the physical necessary measure, tough love, on the child. So if people truly want to win in life,
they must be willing to do
whatever is necessary. Whatever is necessary to get into the game and in order to win, they have to be ready to give it that necessary push. They have to be ready to fight. They have to be ready to go the extra mile to do what is necessary and all of that. You also use the part of that fighting, part of that willingness is also what leads to a strong work ethic. Yeah, like extreme passion. This I've seen with you over and over and over again, and it cannot just be emphasized. That need for that strong work ethic. The strong work ethic is what makes people to win in life. For example, an example used in the chapter that illustrates that a lot is this story of Kobe Bryant. Kobe is one of the best basketballers of all time who's been there. He's won all the championships. He's done everything. Very brilliant guy. And one day, his colleagues were always fighting to always be the one to be in the gym before him. They always want to be want to get to training before him. And Kobe trains like 14 hours of every day. 14 hours every day. And his colleagues were always fighting to be in the gym before him, but they always met him. In fact, they get to the gym, the training time was 8 a.m. But Kobe had always been there, 5, 6 a.m. He had been training 2 hours, 3 hours, so that before they had the normal training, he was already sweating very hard. And then one day he hurt his wrist, and his colleagues were happy that, okay, at least tomorrow we are going to beat him to the gym. We are going to be the first. It will be
big mistake.
Big mistake, because the following morning when they got, the guy was already in the gym with one hand, already training, already sweating it out, already doing the things that. And you brought it out forth that there is no way that a man will win in life if he's not ready to put in all the necessary work hours. He could be the best prayer warrior in the whole country. He could be, in fact, he could be living in church. And this is one of the big mistakes that people make, because people people are praying, people are sleeping in church, people go to church on Monday morning when they should be in church, people spend a lot of time. Many people fast to work, reducing even their mental capacity, that ability for them to be able to concentrate at work, to be able to do other things. But their colleagues who don't believe in all of those things, they are putting in all the hard work, they are putting in all the energy, all the focus.
And they end up winning.
So unless a man is ready to put in all the work, even God will not help him.
Yeah.
No matter the days of
the
fasting,
kingdom of God suffers violence.
And the violence must be ready to take it by force.
Yeah.
So that work ethic is
the application of force.
Yes,
the application of force
is absolutely. You said the fact that it is that repetition, doing it again and again and again and again, working extremely hard, that makes a man intensity to be the best in whatever thing he does. You said the fact that you have reduced your life to just a few things, so that you are able to concentrate and just keep on.
People are always surprised. Some people even write me sometimes and say, "How come you keep on going?" And they are just seeing the things that I do on the internet. They don't see my other life, but that one is already to them
a mystery.
But that's the principle. I'm using it.
The principle, and that is why over time, by the time the practice hours and everything is accumulated, somebody who suddenly wakes up one day that wants to do something like that, the gap is just unimaginable.
And they'll be thinking you are a spirit.
That it just came up.
No, but you just apply principles.
Every day, 3 to 6 hours of personal study. Every day, you'll be doing that consistently for many years. So it's not possible for somebody to wake up one day and want to teach on something or do something, and we'll be able to be efficient as you do it. So I personally also, I came up with that strong. I told myself that, look, there's no point doing many things in this life. I just want to reduce my life
to the most important things.
The most important things, and every day just keep doing those same things. Just keep eating on those same targets again and again, putting in all the number of hours. Then suddenly there will be a colleague one day who wants to do that same thing. Suddenly want to wake up and compete in the game, but the accumulated hours of practice
just discover that it is impossible.
That it is impossible. And unfortunately, that is what Christians want to do. So they believe because I've prayed, or because I've fasted, or because
one
day of favor, and you just want to jump into the game with somebody who has been practicing all this, like putting in all the hours, whether it is
following the rules,
put the amount of practice time has already far exceeded what somebody wants. For example, I am using the example of sports again. We go for Olympics and we put people in camp for 6 months before the Olympics and tell them to train. And
why somebody has been doing it for 6 years?
For 6 years, doing the same thing every day, every morning, every day practicing. And then by the time you put them together, it's just like a joke. It's just like a joke that what is happening. Because life is built on laws and principles, and those principles, God himself is not going to interfere. So this is a major reason why people lose in life. And I challenge people who are listening that there is that need to put in that hard work. That's efficiency. Every day, whatever thing it is that you need to do. For some people, perhaps singing, training their vocals, their voice, doing it again and again and again and again and again. Over time, somebody who just wants to jump into the game one day will realize that now
it's not possible.
It can't be done. It's no longer possible. So
this is the book we're talking about, How to Win in Life. And these are concrete steps, concrete principles that you will not even believe it, that it is possible. You will not even know these principles are legitimate. You will even begin to wonder, is it true? You will be shocked to your socks to discover the principles that are here. So I want to encourage you, go for it.
So before we go to the next chapter, the last principle I want to drop on that you said in chapter 2 is the fact that there's also the need to use every situation of life to learn. And this is very, very important, because when people want to win in life, sometimes people think there is a 50-meter dash or a 100 meters dash. That I'm just going to run and I'm going to get it and that is it. But then they discover that no, it is not that easy. That on the steps of success, there are so many, many pitfalls.
Yeah.
And a man has to be ready to
pay
the price, to be persistent, to just be there.
Do what you need to do.
Yes, Winston Churchill said that success, when it actually is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm.
If you are going through, keep
on going. He said, don't stop. If you catch it, don't stop. Just keep on going. That is just going again and again and again. An example is the Disneyland, started by Walt Disney.
Yes.
When Disney was used to be a very, very poor person, very impoverished. Failure. He used to live in his office, everything had failed for him. So he had to just be by himself, live in his office, and then he said there was a mouse that used to come disturb in the night. Whenever he's trying to sleep, would just disturb him and everything and all that. And eventually went to Hollywood in the United States, and using the example of the mouse who used to disturb him in his office, he created a cartoon using the mouse concept. And Mickey Mouse. And today, Disneyland is worth over $100 billion in assets.
And the main hero is still that mouse.
He's still that mouse because he learned from that situation. So whatsoever thing people are going through in life, it is to be persistent. It is to learn something from it. It is to convert that experience, that situation, to be able to make it, to make something out of life with it. You also, in the book, you shared a very, very nice, interesting story of a horse that fell into a ditch.
Yeah.
And they were trying to bury the farmer who had the horse, was thinking, this horse is going to die anyway, it's old and it's going to die. Let me just bury this horse in that ditch.
Too much work.
Too much work to bring it out. I can't bring it out. They made attempts and it wasn't working, so let's just bury it. So he invited his friends, let's pour sand on this and death on this, and let's just bury it. But then the horse had another idea, another plan, because whenever they were throwing the soil and the dirt on the horse, he would shake the dirt off and step on it. So the more they were doing that, the more he was shaking it off, the more, and he was stepping on it, and the more, and eventually it came out of it.
Yeah, because the dish was
it was filling up, and he was stepping on it, and the more they were pouring, the more it was shaking, and that is the principle of life also. The need for us to be able to shake off whatsoever thing that life throws at us, no matter what it is. Sometimes it's insulting, sometimes it's terrible, sometimes it's difficult, but there's the need for
advantage.
To turn it into an advantage, to bring something out of it.
A stepping stone.
A stepping stone. So that was some of the highlights in that chapter too. So many things that I can't really touch on. Of course, when people go through the book, they'll be able to realize the other strategies for winning in life. Then
this book is full of so many secrets, so many points, so many strategies,
examples.
So, it's amazing.
Yeah, it is. So, then we go to chapter 3 that was talking on the essential qualities of winning, of a winner. There are some of the things that we see in a winner, and we understand that, okay, this is why they win. This is why they... And one of the things you said, I've been able to just touch it briefly on it, but maybe I'll just expatiate on it now, is the fact that every man needs to defend his field. Yeah. There's no point for a man to leave Nigeria, leave his country, and go elsewhere and not become the best, wherever he is. And the man needs to be able to defend the territory and to be able to take responsibility for the territory. So if a man is in Nigeria, there's a need to take responsibility for that territory and says, in this place, I am in charge. I am responsible for all of this place, and I have to be the best. Everything that is going on in this place, I take responsibility for it. So winners actually take responsibility for their territory, for their environment. They don't, no matter what it is going to take. Winners don't just live for their own family, for their own comfort. I just want to feed, I want to be okay, but they actually take charge of the whole territory. An example in that place is the story of two brothers. A man went to war and he was fighting. The war was really very, very tough, and he was trying to do everything to fight, and it was just so heavy on him. So he decided that the strategy is, I'm going to divide the troop into two. I will leave this place for my brother, and I will leave the south for the brother, and I will go to the north, and I'm going to fight. So he took some soldiers and went to the north side and was fighting. But before he left, he gave his brother a command, and he says, defend my field. Don't let the enemy take over this field. Defend my field. And then he went and they fought all day, and in the evening he was returning with a few soldiers. So many people had been dead. But then coming to the south, from the distance, he could only see one man just sitting at an angle of the field. One arm of the man was already chopped off, covered with bandage and bleeding seriously. Every other person was dead. And then when this man came to that spot, it was just his brother that was standing there. And the man stood on his feet and gave a salute and said, "My brother, here's your feet that you told me to defend. That you said that a man is going to win and I must be ready to defend, even with his life, his territory. He must be able to say, this, I'm taking
this was committed to me.
This was committed to me. God gave me this assignment. I take responsibility for whatsoever thing is. I take responsibility for my country. I take responsibility for my state. I take responsibility for my university, for my school, for my workplace, for my business, for my family. And I am not going to let this field get overrun by the enemy or by any intruder. We are going to win. It is possible for a parent to decide and say, I and all of the children that God has given to me, we are going to win. Yeah. We are going to win. We are going to, it's a decision. A man first of all has to be able to stand up and take responsibility. Because when people, it's unfortunate that there are parents who just take responsibility for their own life. And they are, since I've won, I've done enough in my life. I've done my best. Whatever thing you children want to do with your life, it's over to you. There are people who live like that. There are people who, it's very common in Nigeria. We just want to build a fence with
our own little
security.
Yes.
And anything can happen to the rest of the people, we don't care. Or just the road to our house is okay, and that is okay for me, I don't care. You said that is a losing mentality. People don't win in life living like that. Yep. A man who truly wins in life is a man who is ready to stand up to the game and say, this field belongs.
This territory.
It's my territory, and I'm going to defend it even with my life. My arms may be chopped off. Whatever thing it is going to cost me, I'm going to defend this field, and I will not let it get overrun. Yeah. So that was a very major one. And you also said in that chapter the need to ask questions. And for me, this is one of my very favorite parts also in the book, the need to always ask questions. You said the fact that there's no point living life if you are not asking questions. In fact, one of your favorite quotes, which has also become my favorite quote, is the fact that on earth, that it is asking questions is even more important than God, even on the earth. That a man has to ask questions constantly, because if a man is not asking questions, then it's even his relationship with God becomes transactional. Yeah. It becomes, but he must be able to ask God questions. He must be able to have that depth of relationship with God to be able to ask questions. So same thing with life. One must be able to ask questions. How can it be easier? How can I make this thing simpler? What can come out of this situation? How can we make life easier for everybody? What is it that we can do? What is this thing teaching us? So if people are not asking those questions, then life itself...
There's no way they will be able to navigate through life.
Life itself becomes a question mark. People are not able to live through life and it is also asking questions that help people to be able to convert their situations. Two things could be happening to two different people. And why one person is so pitiable and is, oh God, why me? Why is this happening to me? And wants to go to the spiritual, wants to pray and just God favor me.
Living in depression.
Somebody else is using that same situation
to maximize.
It's maximizing it. The same thing that is happening to, the Bible says that there's no temptation that is not common to man. The same thing that is happening to somebody somewhere has happened to other people before him. And a lot of other people have conquered in that same thing. But unfortunately, many times we want to feel like, oh, this is the worst. I'm experiencing the worst. There's no other person that is going through this sad situation. But that is not true.
It's happening to everybody in every country.
Every continent of the world, people are going through that same situation. Whatever thing, the same darkness, lack of electricity that is happening in Africa. Some people have conquered it before. Yeah. The same problems of security that is happening in the country. Some people have conquered that. Some people have gone through that before. So people must be able to ask questions. How am I going to solve all of this problem? A man in a country can say, how can I solve the electricity problem of this country?
Somebody did it for other countries.
For other countries. Somebody solved the problem of security in other country. Yep. Somebody solved the problem of food and hunger in other country. And somebody also can stand up for an entire country and say, I am going to solve the problem of electricity or the problem of poverty or the problem of hunger in this country, and I'm going to do it. To such a man is a man that wins in life, because it is also such a man that will be able to leave a legacy on the earth. Yeah. So that was another
in chapter 3.
In chapter 3.
But still, we have how many chapters?
9 chapters.
We have 9 chapters. So there is a lot for you people to learn. There's so much for you to learn in this book. This is the book we are talking about, how to win in life. This book tells you who are the people that win in life, who is qualified to win in life, and what are the things they do, and what are the things that you can do to win in life. Again, how you can get the book is by going to Amazon, Kindle Unlimited. If you are registered there, you can read them for free. You read the book for free, and my other books, or buy the book on Amazon, or you can write to my office, dssbooks@gmail.com, or you can go to my blog, sundaydelaja.com/books. So yeah.
Yes. So we are still talking about chapter 3. Still talking about the qualities of a man that wins in life, and I already talked the fact that there's a need to ask questions for us to, in every situation, for us to be able to find creative ideas to solve the problem. Then in that same chapter, you talked of another principle. We cannot exhaust all of those principles. Yes. They are just really so many. So many are rushing through my mind. He also talked of the need for optimism, that there is a need to fight with optimism in life, to be optimistic. That in Africa, unfortunately, oftentimes we complain a lot. We think the whole world why is everything against us? Oh, the weather is too sunny.
Oh, some demons
are family, generational cause, father's side, mother's side. So many things that people are thinking of. But none of this is a problem. The biggest problem with people is the fact that they are not optimistic. They are not
living in the illumination of the truth.
People cannot see. They can't see beyond the present, beyond the now. And it is without hope, it is practically impossible to go through life with joy. So there is a need to be optimistic. One of my favorite stories in the book is the man who was going from a man was farming in the field, and oftentimes strangers will come and they will ask, how is it like in the next town up there? What is it like? Is it a good place to live? Is it a bad place? And the man will often ask them, how is it like where you are coming from? And when it's a bad place where I was coming from, you say the next place is also a very bad place. Be careful. And when they say it's a very good place where I'm coming from, you say that place you are going to is also the next time is also a very good place. You will enjoy it. And the young child that was with the man says, but you've been saying all of this, so why are you lying to them? And he said, you cannot change a man's mindset. When a man has chosen to be bleak with life, when a man has chosen that there's nothing good about life, there's nothing that can help him. So there's a need for a man to be optimistic about life, to know that whatsoever situation it is today, there is something that I'm working towards. You said that optimism was what was bringing you out of that obscurity that you were in many years ago. That faith, that obscurity, that things are not going to always be like this. Yeah. You practically were reduced to nothing when you lost your grandma. Yeah. Everybody was gone away. You were like the only soul in the world at that point in time. But that optimism kept you fighting. It was that optimism with which you applied for the scholarship you applied for, with which, though there are going to be a lot of people, but then you applied for it, you were fighting because there was something ahead which you were seeing. So it is that optimism that will that encourages a man to go forward every day. So that was another principle that was clearly highlighted in that chapter 3. And another principle in that chapter also is the fact that winners connect together. People of like minds come together. There is the need to find people of like mind. Optimism will naturally attract people of...
And it creates an environment.
It creates an environment. And environment oftentimes is what kills people's spirit. So when we join people, let's say for example, people are saying, oh, Nigeria cannot be better, or Nigeria cannot be good, or Nigeria is a forgotten country, or that already is a loser's mindset, it's a loser's community. That's already,
they destroy their future.
They destroy their future, they destroy themselves. But then there's another community of people who are believers, who believe that that country is going to be ours. It's going to be fixed. We can do it. There's nothing that has gone wrong that we cannot correct. We are responsible. We can do this. That also creates a community. So there's always a need for people to connect. Like the bees, they come together and they form that colony, and they're able to do extraordinary things. So there's a need for also always, as winners, whoever is going to win in life, to be able to come together with people of like mind, to be able to create that community, that mindset, that encouragement, that environment with which they win in life. One of the things they taught us over time is the fact that a research that was done in Harvard, where they said that for a man to win in life, just the environment alone is responsible for 50% of his chances of success. Just 50% alone, being in the right environment alone decides 50% of the chances. So if a man also is in the wrong environment, then there's already the 50% chance of losing.
Yeah.
So there is always a need for us to be careful of the kind of environment in which we find ourselves. Environment alone, for example, a lot of people come to this house and they say that just being around alone, their work ethic, their productivity already shoots up. Yeah. Their focus already, they are able to do things. People are able to read one book in a day they've not been able to do before, and do other projects and things like that because of the environment that has been created already. So if we are consciously creating the environment, then there is going to be the opportunity to win. Another example I love to use there is the father of John F. Kennedy in the United States.
Yeah.
While the man was raising his children, he was a man who understood this principle and they applied this principle. Because around his dinner time, every time that people, he was to eat with his children, he was not just going to be eat. He would oftentimes invite politicians into his house. Mm-hmm. He would invite popular singers into the house.
Big businessmen.
And then he would not send his children into the room to
go away
and play. Or he would invite his children to come and ask questions.
Yep.
So his children would constantly ask politicians questions, journalists questions, businessmen questions. And that man raised one of the most successful families.
Dynasty.
In the entire United States.
Yep.
That was a major principle by which winners rule in life. But whereas for the losers, the families who are not, for them anything goes. It's just
they chase away the children.
They chase away the children. They don't even have such a culture. They don't understand that power of the environment. And just that man singularly doing that alone, just culturing his children in that environment, that ability for his children to be able to step up to the table and ask questions from all of this, it opened up their mind, it opened up their world. They were able to read governors and presidents and senators and big business people from the family. Such is the power that an environment can create. So there's constantly, for anybody who wants to win in life, there's constantly the need to create a winning culture, a winning environment around him. If a man, you said in the book that pick a pen and a paper and write down the names of the 5 closest people to you, and then you can see your future already. Mm-hmm. You're already looking at the picture. That is already a picture of the future for you. So the people that are closest to you, who move around you every day, who speak into your life, who interact with you, who rubs their mindset with you already dictate what the future is going to be like, because that affects everything. So that is the connection that winners create. Then another principle is the fact that winners often go to a path where there have been no path before. Winners are always looking to create a new path. They are not interested in what everybody has done before.
They don't want to remain the status quo.
They always, if it is about the status quo, charting new path. And this I learned from you very practically. You're always creating that new path. You're always saying, this had never been done before, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to write books that nobody has written before. This invention that nobody has done before, I'm going to do it. This project for Africa that nobody has done before, I'm going to do it. And so all of those things are always coming always very forcefully, beating on my heart. That it seems like if it has been done before, then there's no point wasting your time.
It's not interesting.
It's not interesting. Go find something that has not been done before, that is very decisive, that is very challenging. It was Wadwem Mason that it was saying that go to a place or walk a path that has not been created before, something like that. walk a path that has not been created before. Winners will always go through a path. They will always want to create a path that is less traveled, and then they can create a new path on that road. Yeah. So if people are able to create a new path, that already creates a great chance of success. Even though you do not succeed,
but you'll be the first one to
but you'll be the first person to
create history.
To create history. All of the great names that we know today in the world is because
they follow that principle.
They follow that principle. They were able to create. There is nobody that is being celebrated for doing something that other people have done before.
Yeah.
We always give the award to the first person.
Yeah.
This was the person that invented this. We don't know who invented it after that person or who produced it after that person.
Yeah.
So today, for example, we talk of Nikola Tesla, we talk of the AC current, we talk of the alternating current. We talk because he was the first person. If we talk of Thomas Edison, we talk of the light bulb because he was the first person. If we talk of Alexander Graham Bell, we talk of the first person who created the telephone. It's always about the first. We don't know the second person. Nobody, the world doesn't care about the second person or the third person or the thousands of people that came after that. So if a man is going to really win in life, everybody must begin to think of something new, a new concept.
Chart a new path.
A road that is less traveled or that has never been traveled before, and begin to create that road. So it is only then that a man can win in life. Unfortunately, also, religion and church teaches us to follow where everybody goes. So it is always where everybody is going.
Follow the geo.
This is how everybody is doing it. This is how, the ushering, the choir, the program. And that is why church, they are very good with routine. Very good with repetition, same thing again and again, year in, year out.
But not creating anything
Not creating anything new. And people are practically wasting away their lives just following that organogram, that routine, that same pattern. But a man is going to be a winner in life, must be able to break away from the circadian rhythm, must be able to say, no, I'm not going to follow all of this routine, this repetition. I want something new. I want a different challenge. So it is, I'm going to write a book that's never been written before for kids, I'm going to write a book that's never, for example, no book has been written for children with Down syndrome, or no book has been written for old people with Alzheimer's, or somebody has to be able to create a new concept, be able to dream a new dream, and be able to bed it forth. So that was a big principle.
We will not continue because what I would like to ask you more now is, what do you think this book could do to people who are watching us right now? What if they read it? Either they are young or they are old. What do you think it can give them?
First of all, this book is going to destroy a lot of
stereotypes.
I would, if somebody is very religious, I would recommend it because he's going to have a lot of problems. He has to be ready.
Or he shouldn't read it.
He has to be willing to change. Yes, because this book is going to come again. The book was very, very direct, and it was just throwing direct punches at so many foundations, things that we had always believed, wrong mindsets, wrong belief system. And the book took the time to break down, to explain why these things are wrong and do not work. And this is the reason why a lot of Christians are not winning life. This is why a lot of people are suppressed. So what this book is going to do for anybody who picks up the book to read is the fact that it's going to break all of those myths, all of those minds, the book's deception. And the book already explained the fact that the major reason why people are not winning life, of course, is that mindset. When the man is superstitious, he's already caged. He's not going to win in life. And it is true because even the people that preach superstition to people, they themselves don't believe in the superstitions. They themselves don't walk it. They don't do it. They themselves try to follow. For example, all of those bishops and pastors, they have investments. If it is by soul seed and 1,000 return or 1,000 food or something.
And they are collecting. They are doing the very opposite.
But they are investing. They are putting investment. They have shares. They have all of these things. And they are not telling people about all of those principles of investment and things like that. So if the members are very superstitious and they are losing in life, and they are trying to go behind the curtain and apply the principles. So it will destroy the myth. It will destroy all of those strongholds in the mind, in all those age-long beliefs. Many of the things that we believe, we don't even know why we believe them.
Do you think that through this book, we could produce a set of people who will be shining and ruling everywhere, in every area of life, in every country of the planet.
I have no doubt inside of me. I have no doubt within me. The principles, especially the core principles that are outlined in this book, the way you broke them down and everything, is the fact that we are going to have a new generation of people, not just believers. If anybody can pick this book, that's the very interesting thing. Anybody can bring, and very interesting is the fact that
just practical. The book is very practical,
concrete. Many people who are not believers are going to read this book first before some of these church-going people will do that, because the principles come very straight. They are relatable. People can understand the fact.
And even if you apply 2 or 3 alone
of the principles,
all the about 200 principles,
yes, that is the truth.
That's enough for you.
That is the truth. That is the truth. It's the fact that it's not even like the fact that you have to master everything.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that when you become a master of 2 or 3 of the principles, you become a real champion in life. We begin to have a new generation of people who are at the very top of whatever thing they are into or whatever thing they do. Because that is the mindset, to be at the very top of it, to be the best, to be among the leading leaders, and to be able to take responsibility for that entire territory. And to be able to
what would this book do to Africa and to the African continent?
This book is going to bring light to Africa. We have to
drive away the darkness.
We have to find ways to create as many projects as possible. I'm quite always very, very passionate for young people, because when I read books like this, my mind is always going back to the millions and millions and millions of young people in Africa. Many of these young people still think that life is a game of chance, or life is a game of luck,
or life is not possible in Africa.
Yes, or life is not possible in Africa. The young people are traveling to Libya thinking that once they get to Europe, that all of their problems will be solved. So I'm always thinking about all of those. This book, a book like this, and when we create a lot of projects for them, from a book like this, it's going to bring illumination into their mind. And the first step is always that illumination. So when people understand that, oh, life is possible.
Yeah, the door is open.
It's open. Everywhere, life is the same principles of life
everywhere.
That applies in Asia is the principle of life in Africa. It's the principle of life in Europe and America.
The good thing about this book is that the principles that are here, they are even more for the difficult places.
Yes.
Where things are not ready.
Yes.
They are the principle that will make you to make it in the rugged places.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Very true. Especially you used from the beginning, from the very introduction of the book to the very last chapter of the book, you use very practical life examples. From how you rose.
The most difficult places.
Most difficult places.
Nigeria was tough for me. Then Russia is one of the hardest places.
And in fact, towards the end of the book, you gave many examples of the tragedy that happened in the family.
Yeah.
And so people are even going through tragedy of life, loss.
That doesn't stop them.
It doesn't stop them.
Yeah, if you know the truth, it will not stop you.
Many times, even all of those things become an advantage.
Yeah,
because
they become your propeller.
A propeller, a stepping stone. I remember asking you a question one time where I was saying the fact that why is it that many of these people who are advantaged in life, who start up early in life, they are not.
They always.
They are mediocre. They are not as.
They are always left behind.
They are left behind. But people who seemingly do not anything, they are able to go find. And you said to me that day that sometimes what is needed for life is that shocker, something to shock you, to give you that shock.
Pain is the biggest teacher.
And you become conscious. So that pain awakening consciousness. You said that if you didn't lose your grandmother at the time you lost your grandmother,
I wouldn't have been who I am.
You wouldn't have been who you are today. But that pain of the loss of your grandmother,
the shock,
that shock brought into awareness. Yeah. And that was when you decided, and then you know that, oh, I have to do something about my life. So for the very difficult terrains, a particular place like Africa, such a book like this is very, very relevant. It's most important. It's very relevant because people understand that the pain and the difficulty of the environment is a big advantage, is a big plus for us.
And people are still thinking that it's a big disadvantage.
Oh no, that's a wrong.
Because they don't know. Everything depends on what you know.
No, yes.
Well, for you to get this book, you can read it for free on Kindle Unlimited. You need to register for that one. And then you can buy it on Amazon too. But you can also write to my office, dssbooks@gmail.com, or go to my blog, sundayadelajablog.com/books. So you can just, get the book for yourself, get it for other people, and there are many other books of mine that will be able to convey the same message that will be able to help you. Well, thank you so very much. You've done a great job. Great job. But the most important thing is that you are living by the principle.
Thank you, Pastor.
So in the next 30 minutes, we are coming back on to continue the series on prosperity, gospel, and the God of Mammon. So thank you so much. We'll see you in 30 minutes. Peace.